In 1914, Europe was on the brink of war. Several alliances had been made between the European powers, and it would only take one event in the Balkans that would send most of the world into a major military conflict.
Hi, I'm Alexander Peterson, and welcome to Dino Historians. Today, we will be looking into why one of the world's worst events in history started: World War I.
How the First World War began is often described as a domino effect of events. The war had started in the summer of 1914 and would go on till April 1918. With many smaller wars, like the Polish-Soviet War, following.
But how did this war happen? How did one of the biggest and deadliest events in human history begin? Well, to find that out, we have to look back 55 years before the war even started.
We begin in 1859. The rise of nationalism threatens the European powers, who desperately wish to hold on to their empires. The Kingdom of Sardinia, allied with France, defeats the Austrian Empire in the Franco-Austrian War, or the Second Italian War for Independence. Sardinia then begins the process of Italian unification, and France gains territories. This is the end of Austrian expansion into Italy. In June 1866, a war breaks out between the Kingdom of Prussia and the Austrian Empire. 7 weeks later, Prussia wins and forms the North German Confederation. The following year, in 1867, in the aftermath of the Austro-Prussian War, the Hungarian Revolution severely weakens the Austrian Empire, who calls on Russian troops for assistance in quelling the rebellion. Shortly after the revolution, the Austrian Empire is turned into the Austro-Hungarian Empire to help stop Austria's empire from collapsing. In 1871, the North German Confederation allies itself with the southern German states and defeats France in the Franco-Prussian War. The North German Confederation and the southern German states then unite to create the German Empire. The new empire annexes Alsace-Lorraine, a French territory on the German border.
This causes great anger in France. The humiliation of losing a war, combined with the German occupation and the loss of territories, creates great hostility towards Germany for the next half a century.
Germany, with a large population and a large industrial system, now has the power to change the balance of power in Europe.
To protect itself from French revenge attacks, Germany moves diplomatically closer to the Russian Empire and the Austrian-Hungarian Empire and begins rapid expansion of its army.
In the Balkans, many uprisings happen all over the Ottoman Empire's Balkan territories. Russia takes advantage of the opportunity, and after the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 and 1878, Russia wins and annexes territories and sees the creation of the Balkan states of Romania, Serbia, Montenegro, and Bulgaria.
However, the Russian Empire's rising status is frowned upon by Western powers, who meet in Berlin to review the Treaty of San Stefano,
which had been signed between the Russian Empire and the Ottoman Empire at the end of the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 and 1878. This worsens much of the Russian public opinion on the German Empire, which leads to some tensions between Russia and Germany. The German Empire and the Austrian-Hungarian Empire then sign a defensive military alliance, creating the Dual Alliance. Shortly after, Italy joins the alliance with Germany and Austria-Hungary after France seizes the territory of Tunisia in North Africa, which Italy very much wanted because of its many ethnic Italians living there. The three powers then create the Triplice, or the Triple Alliance.
The German Empire, now a major world power, begins a colonial policy. It invites many of the great powers to Berlin to begin dividing up the African continent between them.
Germany obtains many colonies, such as German East Africa, German Southwest Africa, and Cameroon. Germany also obtains many colonies in Asia, such as German New Guinea and the Marshall Islands, and Qingdao. Italy obtains Libya, Eritrea, and Italian Somaliland. France obtains most of West Africa and Madagascar. The British Empire obtains much of East and South Africa, such as Egypt, Sudan, and South Africa, along with also obtaining Nigeria in the west. Portugal obtains Angola and Mozambique. Spain obtains Spanish Morocco, Western Sahara, and Equatorial Guinea. And finally, Belgium obtains the Congo. Only two countries on the African continent, Liberia and Ethiopia, keep their independence.
Many great European powers, such as the British and French empires, are upset about the conference's terms, as they did not receive all territories they desired. This leads to more tensions between the European powers and their empires.
With German power rising at an alarming rate, the French and Russian empires sign a secret military alliance. France then receives a secret treaty of neutrality from Italy. This helps France greatly, since now, in the case of war, it no longer will have to manage two fronts. The British Empire also feels very threatened by the German Empire's rising power, especially by Germany's naval fleet, which can now compete with the British Empire's very powerful Royal Navy. The German Empire also moves diplomatically closer to the Ottoman Empire by beginning the creation of a railway line, which would run from Berlin all the way to Baghdad, granting Germany access to Mesopotamian oil, along with many other resources. The British, the French, and the Russian empires then sign a military alliance and create the Triple Entente. The new alliances now have the power to bring the entire continent and even a large part of the world into a war. The great powers then begin an arms race and begin to create military plans in the case of war. The Ottoman Empire then suffers from a revolution. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire takes advantage of the situation and annexes the Ottoman territory of Bosnia-Herzegovina.
This action is largely opposed by the Russian Empire and its Serbian ally, which dreams of uniting the Slavic peoples of the Balkans.
Shortly after, in 1912, the First Balkan War breaks out. The Balkan allies of Serbia, Montenegro, Greece, and Bulgaria then signed many treaties to divide up the Ottoman Empire's last European territories between them. War soon broke out, and after almost 8 months of war, the Balkan allies win, and the Ottoman Empire is forced to give up almost all of its territories left on the European continent. The war also sparks the independence of Albania in the southwest of the region. Bulgaria feels aggrieved, as it does not obtain all territories it wanted from the Ottomans. Serbia and Greece, who feel threatened by Bulgaria, then sign a defensive alliance. Only a month after the end of the First Balkan War, the Second Balkan War breaks out in June of 1913. Soon, Romania, Montenegro, and the Ottoman Empire get involved. After a month of war, Bulgaria is defeated and is forced to give up many of its new territories. Serbia and Greece gain more of Macedonia. Romania gains a territory, and the Ottoman Empire regains some of its old territories.
Bulgaria is very upset about this, and tensions in the Balkans would only rise further from here. Across the European continent and the world, tensions rise to the peak between the great European powers and the alliances. And it would only take one event in the Balkans that would trigger it all.
In June of 1914, the heir to the Austrian throne, Franz Ferdinand, and his wife traveled to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire's new territory, Bosnia-Herzegovina, in the city of Sarajevo, to inspect troops. The Archduke and his wife are then assassinated by a Bosnian Serb nationalist.
The Austrian-Hungarian Empire accuses Serbia of organizing the assassination. The Russian Empire defends Serbia, while the German Empire supports its Austrian ally.
1 month later, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire declares war on Serbia, marking the beginning of World War I. Russia would soon begin mobilization of its troops, and the German Empire would activate its military plans.
The First World War began because of over half a century of events and tensions across Europe and the world. France desperately wanted back Alsace-Lorraine from Germany, and many great powers did not receive everything that they wanted from the Berlin Conference. Britain and Russia both felt very threatened by Germany's rising power. Bulgaria very much wished to regain its old territories, and there are so many other reasons why this devastating conflict began. Thank you so much for watching Dino Historians, and we will see you on the next great adventure into history.